Alright, Calm Man Gamer here. Gonna do the history of autism blog each Friday of April. Alright, let's go back to the beginnings. It was discovered by a Dr. Ashberger. I'm not gonna go into full details of why I don't like that doctor. That'll be for a later video. Summer's around November, but yeah, it was discovered by Dr. Asperger's, of autism. Autism is German for one, one, and there's a lot of other meanings, but it's just a neurological condition. When people were diagnosed with autism, they were institutionalized, put into hospitals, locked away. Kids were locked away, and they would think that the mother didn't love their child, but it's just not true. Mothers love their child. A majority of mothers love their child. Yeah, it doesn't mean that they didn't love them or show them enough affection. That's not all true. Those were all false facts. And kids were to be locked away for having autism back in the past, like in the 1920s when it was discovered. And the 30s it was changed again. But people would be locked away if they had autism. And they would not understand why autistics like to rock or twist around in a chair, and they would not be allowed to go to school. That's what happened. This is the end of part 1 of autism, when in the 20th century they were trying to understand it, but they locked away. I will go in the next week. I will talk about the 1930s of autism. Well, that'll be next Friday. That's the end of part 1 of the history of autism, covering off the 20s. In the 1900 to 1909 and the 1910s, they didn't really know what was autism. They didn't understand why kids wouldn't develop, like talk, or why they would zone out, and they didn't understand that. But in the 20s, they gave it a name, autism. But they also thought it was schizophrenia, but that's not true. Autism is different than that, and autism is not an illness. But back then, they thought it was. I'm just trying to clarify it. Autism is in no way illness. But I'm just going back to the 20s, to the history of how far we've came and how much we need to go by the end of the month. So I hope you I will go more onto the 30s of autism in the next week, the 1930s. Well, I hope you enjoyed this blog. I wanted to make it short and simple, just so you can learn. And I hope you have a good day, night, evening, and you're loved. And stay tuned for the history of autism part 2 next week.